Ryan Poles finally did it. The Chicago Bears have signed an edge rusher in Yannick Ngakoue, who's brought in on a one-year deal for $10.5 million to rush the passer for Chicago in 2023. And the move makes sense. I mean, it fits one of the biggest needs that Chicago has, third down pass rush. And while Ngakoue may not be the perfect player, I do think he's as good a fit as Chicago was going to get to upgrade their pass rush this close to the start of the 2023 season. Ngakoue is a speed demon, and everything he does is set up by how quick he is around the edge. He loves that cross chop technique that we've seen Robert Quinn use in Chicago for years now, which starts with a fake to the inside before the edge rusher explodes outside of the tackle, swatting his hands away and planting his outside foot and driving back towards the quarterback to create as much chaos as possible. Once Yannick's got his offensive tackle jumping towards that outside edge at the start of every snap, then he mixes in inside counters, spin moves, speed to power combinations, and everything else that he's got in his arsenal to pressure the quarterback just a little bit more on every snap he's able to. Yannick's got a strong first step, which is exactly what you'd expect of a speed rusher of his caliber, but it also makes him useful on long stunts, and defensive line twists, and all the other games that his defensive coordinator may cook up for him. He's a really nice weapon to have, especially when you're setting up your third down pass rush, because somebody's got to draw the attention of the offense, and Yannick has been doing that for years across the NFL. Offenses love to chip Yannick Ngakoue, and while it definitely slows him down, you've got to remember that from a defensive perspective, every time you can get the offense to chip one of your edge rushers, they're taking a route that could have been downfield and committing it to something closer to the line of scrimmage so that that player can deliver their chip block. In effect, every time an edge rusher can draw that extra attention, it's a net win for the defense, so long as somebody can create some pressure. It helps that Yannick's speed lets him pretty quickly get back into the play even when he is chipped, and if he's chipped too hard, sometimes he'll be able to find a hole in the offensive line almost as if he'd been sent on a delayed blitz. Also, remember that inside move we talked about? If Yannick feints the outside to draw the chipper too far to the outside shoulder, he can quickly pivot back to an inside rush and, at times, create pressure anyways despite the extra attention. Plus, if Alan Williams, the Bears defensive coordinator, uses Yannick Ngakoue to his fullest, he should be able to leverage Yannick as sort of a decoy that sets up plenty of other defenders on the defense. My favorite recent example of this is the Colts game against the Titans, which saw young offensive tackle Nicholas Petit-Ferrer really struggle to handle Yannick's edge rush. With this in mind, the Titans decided to use their running back to chip Yannick Ngakoue on a big third down that they absolutely needed. The only problem is the Colts saw this coming. They blitzed a DB right behind where Ngakoue was going to be rushing, meaning that when the running back left Tannehill's side to go chip Yannick Ngakoue, he wasn't home to stop the CB blitz coming straight at Ryan Tannehill, and the quarterback went down in a heap. Big win for the Colts defense, and all because of the attention that Ngakoue's drawing. I really don't want to make Yannick sound too good. He's not the pass rusher of pass rushers, but he's a huge boon to a Bears defense that desperately needed exactly this, a designated pass rusher that's consistently in the backfield one way or another and hustles so that if somebody else flushes the quarterback a little further out the back of the pocket, Yannick will be there to help clean them up. Also, in my opinion, Ngakoue is very matchup driven. If he's up against an offensive tackle that struggles to move laterally, like his games against Tennessee and Washington, he's going to have a pretty good day at work. But if he goes up against a tackle that can move a little bit, like Jordan Mailata against the Philadelphia Eagles, it could be tough sledding out there for Ngakoue. He's a bit of a one-trick pony at times, and that one trick is really strong, and if you can't stop it, he's got you right where he wants you. But if you can take it away from him, he's going to have to focus more on winning inside, maybe winning with speed to power just to create a little bit of pressure, but mostly assisting his teammates through things like stunts, twists, slants, and the other defensive line games we talked about earlier. Also, there's one other elephant in the room that we should probably mention, and that's Yannick Ngakoue is a pretty small player, all things told, measuring recently at about 6'2", 245, and with relatively short arms to boot. Keep in mind, the standard defensive end is usually around 265. While this lighter weight definitely helps Ngakoue attack that edge with the ferocious speed we've just talked about throughout the video, it can make him pretty light in run support, and you're only going to be able to trust him with probably one gap, if that, and just take your losses when the opposing offense attacks him. Honestly, based on his reputation, I expected to see a much more lackadaisical run defender, and he certainly doesn't lack for motor. He's trying out there. He's just a pretty small defender, about the size of a tight end, and that means that when he goes one-on-one against tight ends, honestly, they can be pretty physical contests, and when he goes up against an offensive tackle, the tackle's simply too heavy, too strong, and usually kicks him out without too much trouble. Again, we're talking about a free agent that managed to last the entire offseason unsigned and then sign a one-year deal. He definitely comes with his warts, but given the Bears' dire need for pass rushers, I think it's well worth it to take on Ngakoue, faults and all, and trade a couple of those early down run stuffs for the potential chances at a game-turning sack, pressure, or whatever else may happen should the offense decide to pass. With the addition of Yannick Ngakoue, the Bears may not be the best team, but they are a complete team, and now on first, second, and third down, they have the tools to at least attempt to get after the quarterback with 4 down rushers, and should they blitz, they've got pieces that they can take advantage of for matchup's sake. I'm definitely curious as to what DeMarcus Walker is going to be able to bring to this defense, especially if the Bears do rush him as a 3 technique, or what some of the rookies, say Zach Pickens or maybe Gervon Dexter, can bring to the pass rush. But Yannick Ngakoue is no doubt, as of right now, their #1 weapon against opposing quarterbacks, and for the price of just $10.5 million, no future considerations in a 1-year deal, I tend to think that there's nothing to really get upset about in this. If you enjoyed this video, please leave it a like and comment your favorite Bears pass rusher on the defensive line. Subscribe for more content just like this all off-season and season long as we get started on one of the most fun Bears seasons in recent memory. And until next time, folks, bear down, and thanks so much for hanging out with me. Have a great rest of your day.